everyone, welcome to the Movieception Show. My name is Fariba, and tonight, in a very rare occurrence, we actually got one final trailer for the movie The Marvels. Now, of course, there's a lot of things that have been going on behind the scenes for the movie, and just a lot of things that's just been coming up in the news sphere regarding the movie as well as the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general, which I hope to actually talk about later this week before the movie comes out. So I'm gonna reserve that for a different time and different discussion. But yeah, there's been a lot of talks about the movie. The box office projection came out earlier, I believe on Saturday, that has not been the most promising. So this probably could be the reason why we're seeing this final trailer, to really kind of put in the big punches for the movie, to get people to kind of, renew their interest for this film that's about to come out in 3 days from now, which also happens to be coming out around the same time as Loki Season 2 finale. So it's just really, Marvel? But yeah, we got a final trailer for the movie, and now, of course, just I haven't really been talking about it the last few months. I think, again, I've just been busy, but also, I've done a couple of reactions for the film as well, at least for the first two trailers that we did get. I mean, so far, it's definitely a bit more of a funner vibe that we've gotten in comparison to everything else we've gotten. Secret Invasion was definitely going into more, grimmer route. Guardians of the Galaxy was definitely kind of falling into the more emotional route. Ant-Man Quantumania was definitely a very confused film, and then what else came out? I mean, that's kind of about it, right? So definitely been a big mixed bag. Definitely kind of been going on the more darker side with some of the more, Marvel stuff that we've been getting. So it's definitely a nice change of pace just to go in a more fun vibe, one that's a bit more, relaxed and kind of just really exploring the universe this time around, which is one of the things that it's one of the reasons why I'm still interested in watching the movie. I know a lot of people are still contemplating about whether or not they even want to still watch it, not really because of everything that's happening behind the scenes, but more so just MCU in general. So, I mean, I hope to see what the trailer has to offer. I mean, what are going to be kind of the last, resorts for what the movie can do to get people to go and check out this movie. I mean, as I said before, I'm excited to see what is next for this film. I think the one thing I'm looking forward to seeing is seeing Kamala Khan make her debut in the movie sphere, because, I mean, she had her show last year when she appeared in her own show, Miss Marvel. And now we're going to see a bit of her kind of exploring herself, getting to, not just being a bit more of an individual superhero, but also teaming up. So that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing. But I'm very curious to see why they put out this final trailer. Are they going to pull out the cameos that, could have been reserved for the movie? Maybe they're going to put that out now. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right down into the final trailer for The Marvels.
It's an old-fashioned notion.
Okay, so we're seeing the original 6.
The world can still use them.
Ready.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Peak Marvel right there.
We destroyed Thanos. But it's not over.
My work is inevitable. There will always be more to finish it.
That's the other big. Okay. That was the second bangle that we've been looking for from Miss Marvel.
She tore a hole in space. There's a different reality leading into ours.
What are you prepared to do?
I'm invincible.
Your powers only make me stronger.
So you can't be matched. Can't be controlled. I'm asking for one last fight.
Okay, interesting. Come on again.
You cannot protect your people. But you can stand tall.
There was a leak. There was a Marvel leak. That's the leak.
They're here.
The Marvels, rated PG-13.
Uh-oh. Monica, you gotta fly.
No.
Black girl magic.
Did you say Black Girl Magic?
Get tickets now.
Yeah, that was the trailer for The Marvels. very interesting change in tone there, because if I recall, the first two trailers were definitely a bit more upbeat, very energetic, very relaxed, very, fun. This one was definitely much more of the dark, not I want to say darker route, but something that's like one that's a bit more subtle, just because of just a dire situation that's going on in the moment. So interesting that they took this turn. Like, I wonder if this is part of like kind of a little bit of their overhaul that's been going on. Like, I mean, again, I'll talk about this in a separate video, but that is very interesting that the final trailer definitely shows a bit more of the serious situation of what's going on with the villain that they're dealing with and how this could be catastrophic for the galaxy. So there are a couple of things that they do break down a little bit in this video. So the villain that we do see here, of course, we see that she does have the other half of the bangle, which kind of calls back to what we do know from Miss Marvel. Like, I think it was like the third episode where I think it was titled like the Djinn, where Kamala's great grandmother and her crew were looking for the bangles, the entity that's supposed to allow them to kind of go back to where they were from, the dimension that they were from. So, but they only found one and they were still looking for the other. I remember that conversation, like, oh, where's the other one? And they couldn't find the other one. So it looks like they found the other half, or that, the villain here has found the other half. So it looks like that makes a lot more sense why Kamala Khan is involved, because she has the other half of the bangle. That villain has the other half of the bangle. So again, this is going to raise a lot of questions about, oh, well, what does this mean about the 10 rings? Because I know there was a lot of theories about, the 10 rings being the other half of the bangle, or that there was some sort of connection between the 10 rings and Kamala's bangle, and that could, lead to kind of the events going into the multiverse saga. So theory that is still kind of pending. We don't know if that's going to even still be legitimate, but it does kind of like, it kind of debunks a little bit of the theory that we know about that with the whole, the bangle situation, the Shang-Chi and the 10 rings connection with Kamala, because now we see the other half right here. I mean, it's literally like the same exact looking bangle. So looks like they're kind of, implying that there's going to be another very, catastrophic galactic situation that's in everyone's hands, as if they're trying to compare it to, like, trying to make it equally, scary, frightening, the way that Thanos had, undergone his own escapade in the galaxy, of course, getting the five stones and no, sorry, not 5, 6 stones, and, basically perishing, or basically wiping out half the population of the universe, to say not just Earth, but the universe. So, I don't know if that's going to be very comparable. I mean, again, like, unlike this villain that we're meeting for the first time, aside from the fact that she has some pre-connection, that, Thanos has been someone who has been developed for a long, long time. I mean, he has been developed since the Avengers. And it wasn't until, of course, Infinity War that we start to really get the idea of who Thanos was, that we finally meet the ultimate villain for, like, after having been hyping for such a long time. So I don't know if we can really get the same, amount of that feel of the villain, like, being such a huge threat in the way that we felt with Thanos. So that's definitely going to be something that, I feel like it will be kind of tough to really challenge, but we'll see how it all goes, right? So this one, we definitely get to see a bit more of the villain, of course, like her, pursuit, what her goals seem to be about going into, the events of the Marvels. Of course, we're seeing a bit more of this chemistry between Fury, or not see, but we can hear that chemistry going on between Fury and Carol Danvers, because we do hear them, we overhear their conversation as, we see the snippets as they're kind of recapping what has happened since, Endgame. Like, we see how they're kind of alluding a little bit to the original Avengers. Like, we see an image of Iron Man, we see an image of Captain America, we see an image of, their time heist from Endgame. So again, it makes sense, because Fury was the one who helped, who helped found the Avengers way back in 2012, of course. And so he has an ultimate, connection to that. Like, he has that link. And we know that Carol was involved helping the Avengers defeat Thanos back in, 2018, 2019. during the Battle of Earth. So yeah, lots of things that they kind of go about, you know, in terms of recaps in the beginning. We see the villain here, then of course we see kind of the snippets of what the movie's going to show. The one thing, of course, that really kind of stood out was the fact that they showed the cameo. Apparently there was that leak online the last few days that there was going to be a cameo, and I mean, I saw it was Valkyrie, of course, and so I assumed that the Valkyrie thing was legitimate, and I mean, or at least it had some credibility, and now it can be confirmed that Valkyrie is in this movie, now that we've seen this trailer. So, I mean, and I was even contemplating about whether or not to even watch this trailer because I didn't want to be spoiled, but at the same time, I was like, you know what, the spoilers are probably going to will finally catch up to me at some point in time just because of how horrible the internet can be when it comes to spoilers. So, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to watch it just to kind of save me the trouble. And thankfully I did, because now it can be confirmed that Valkyrie's in this movie. So as to the extent of her presence, it's pretty unclear. It seems as though that she's just probably there maybe like at one point or something to maybe motivate the heroes, the 3 heroes that we see here, to, maybe as like a morale boost or something. So that could be the case. Like, she's probably just there for like maybe a good 2-3 minutes, but nothing more. Like, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong about that. Who knows? I think a couple things that also did stand out was the fact that, again, we see how powerful this villain is. Like, there are a couple of cases that we see throughout this trailer that, Carol, Monica, and Kamala are struggling to overpower her. She seems to have some sort of adaptability as a result of the fact that she has the other half of the bangle, giving her that power that she has to, really emit that, that cosmic energy. So that's probably where, she's getting all that, power from as a result of the bangle. So probably the only way that they can stop her is to, disconnect her from the bangle, right? So that's probably going to be their pursuit going into the end of the movie. But I think the one thing that really stood out is that there's one moment in the clip where it seems as though Monica, and it could be Carol, I don't know, but they're like sitting down. They seem to kind of be, resting or something. But the one thing that did caught my attention was that, from what it could look, it seems to be, I think it could be, Carol, that she's wearing a whole different suit. Like, I see someone is wearing like a white gear or something, and it's not Monica, because we can see Monica right there. So it's definitely not Monica. So someone else is wearing like a white suit. So I don't know if that was Carol. Like, I'm gonna assume that could be Carol right there, just because I can't imagine any other character that we could see them in the white suit. I don't think Kamala Khan has ever had a white suit in the comics before. It's always been the red and the blue suit with the yellow zigzag, the yellow like flash sign, whatever, right? So I wonder if they're implying that there's gonna be a new suit being introduced for Carol Danvers. Like, that's going to be a very interesting thing. Or maybe that's just a whole separate character. Maybe there's more cameos that we have not already, figured out as of this point, because again, the Valkyrie leak has been out for a while, so they basically were just like, you know what, since that's already been out, you might as well just confirm it here. I don't know if there's any more as of yet. The only one I knew about was Valkyrie, of course, so that was just about it. But really interesting that the fact that they did change a little bit of the the tempo and the tone for the movie in this final trailer than they did in the previous one. Again, like, I felt like the previous one was definitely going to more like fun bits of Marvel. This one is definitely showing kind of the dire situation going on into their next pursuit. So I'm very curious to see just the end product of this movie. Of course, again, there's a lot of things that really came out behind the scenes regarding the whole film. Of course, like, a little bit of that drama here and there. That, again, there was that Variety article from last week, kind of, spitballing a lot of bombshells. And then, like, even after that, we've been kind of hearing a lot of rebuttals from the director. And of course, none of the actual cast members are able to promote the movie as a result of the fact that, the SAG-AFTRA strike is still ongoing. And after having heard the latest update, it doesn't seem as if they've reached a deal as of yet. So, definitely a really tough position for the movie right now, going into its final days before its release. And again, the director's all by herself, just promoting the film as of this point. but we'll see how it goes. Maybe like again, the first reviews are gonna be dropping, I believe, sometime this week. They're gonna be out there very soon. Hopefully, things will work out for the movie. I think there is some promise. I think that, having seen the previous trailers, like the one thing that really stood out was, Miss Marvel, aka Kamala Khan, and her fun vibes and her energy. So I hope to see a lot of that as we get closer to the movie. Because I mean, as I said before, if you've been following my channel since, last year, that I was really a dedicated follower watching the Miss Marvel show last summer, and I had a blast watching it, talking about it, conversing about my experiences and how that's being reflected on the show as well. So that's something I love to see continue off. I mean, I would imagine that it's not going to go into more of the depths of being a DC girl in this movie, because they kind of already tackled all of that back in the show, but I love to see more of Kamala's energy and her dynamic with Monica and Carol Danvers, especially Carol Danvers, because we know how much she's a huge fan of her. Like, she's just like her number one fan, basically. Like, she's obsessed with her. So we'll finally get to see her finally, meet her idol after so long, and someone who helped her kind of become this hero of her own that we see today. So I think that I will be keeping my hopes up. I will be keeping my mind open when the movie does come out this Thursday. I do hope to talk a little bit about the Marvel universe and the whole idea of it being in shambles, because there's a lot of things that have been coming out in like the last few weeks. I feel like every week we're getting some sort of Marvel drama, but the movie comes out this Thursday. Loki season 2 finale comes out also this Thursday, so I look forward to seeing kind of like the last bits of Marvel content that we're gonna get before the end of the year. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about having now seen the final trailer for the Marvels. We're now about 3 days away from its release. What are your thoughts about now having this trailer? Having seen this trailer, if you were someone who just really had little to no interest, has this trailer changed your mind in any sort of way? Like, are you still gonna go check it out, or you have no intentions of seeing it? Let me know why you will or will not watch this movie. What do you think about the developments that we do see in this trailer? The fact that they actually decided to, we're like, F it, let's just show the Valkyrie cameo because it's already out there. Like, what do you think about the leak right there that just, finally been confirmed here in this trailer? What do you think about the fact that they do kind of take this approach in the beginning of this trailer where they're kind of going a bit more on the nostalgic route? Like, hey, remember the times that we had the OG Avengers, after a whole while, and then, remember that time we had the Endgame and Carol came and helped them and was a really big player about it, and all that sort of stuff. Like, I mean, could this be implying something about the direction of the MCU? Who knows? I mean, maybe it's just too late. Who knows? And let me know what your other thoughts about having seen the trailer. Like, I mean, do you think that, the white image that we did see, or that one image that we do see with Monica and someone wearing a much more of like this white suit, like, could this be implying something? Like, is that Carol who probably may be debuting a new outfit, a new sort of costume? What could be going on in this movie? Like, I mean, at this point, like, do we think that the theory regarding the connection between Kamala's bangle and the Shang-Chi 10 rings, like, is that still a valid theory to kind of go on, or has that basically been debunked at this point now, having seen the trailer? What are your other thoughts and theories about this movie as we get closer to its release? What do you think the first reactions are going to be like? I mean, the first reaction coming out in a couple of days. Let me know what your thoughts are, having just heard about the drama going on with this film, and whether or not things are being taken out of proportion, because I think some of it might be. Let me know if you had any thoughts about this movie. Let me know your comments down below, and make sure to like and subscribe.